Hello, everyone. I was hoping to encourage someone with what I learned a couple of months ago. And honestly, I'm still learning. A few months ago, I was in Bible study, my personal Bible study. And I had come to that Bible study with an expectation, hoping to hear from God concerning a certain tight situation that I was in. And honestly, still, I'm in it. But instead of saying something about that situation, the Holy Spirit said, "You don't trust me." And it was quite disheartening to hear that at that time because I felt like this issue could have been addressed long before we had gotten to this tight situation. But I knew that if that was when God chose to address it, then that was when He chose to address it. And I asked a lot of questions. He took me back, way back. And I came to the realization that yes, indeed, I found it difficult to trust God. Now, I have faith in God, but trusting Him was a different situation. And that was why when I found myself in different scenarios, I would jump to take action. I was quick to take action. When it seemed like God was being slow, I would just want to do something. I mean, inaction didn't seem like an option for me. But at the time, I was now in a situation where I could do nothing. There was nothing I could do to change where I was. And I felt like God intentionally led me to this place where I really could not do anything to save myself. And then He took me through the story of the Israelites and when they got to the Red Sea. I think it's in Exodus chapter 14, if you'd want to read it at a later time, but maybe I'll highlight a few verses. And He talked about how they were at the bank of the Red Sea and the Egyptian army was coming, raging from behind. And He said to me, "Chika, I see what threatens you. I see that thing. I see that thing that is threatening you and is coming. And it still seems like there's no way to go forward, but you can't jump into the Red Sea." We talk a lot about how the Egyptians always wanted to go back to Egypt. But the Holy Spirit said to me that day, "You can't go back, but you also cannot jump ahead of my word. You can't jump ahead of me." If you had asked them at the time, the Israelites, how they thought God would take them across the Red Sea, they'd probably be thinking more like plenty boats would have to come and take us across. But that was not God's strategy, and He knew it wasn't His strategy. So preempting God and going before His word would have led to situations that they were not prepared for. And so the Holy Spirit was saying to me, "You need to stop jumping ahead of me. You need to stop trying to control the situation because you're afraid of what is chasing you behind." And one of the verses describes beautifully how the pillar of cloud and the pillar of fire that were leading the Israelites left before them and went behind them and stood as a barrier between the Egyptian army and the Israelites. And it specifically said in the Bible that the Egyptian army could not come close to the Israelites all through the night. And it was quite interesting because the Holy Spirit was saying to me, "This thing you fear will not touch you. It won't come close. I will put myself between you and that thing. Nothing shall by any means harm you, but you need to wait for my word. You need to wait for me." I know how difficult it could be to be at that Red Sea moment. And I think a lot of us have, at one time or another, or maybe even now, you're on your Red Sea moment and it seems like you need to take action. But if you've not heard from God, if you've not heard what His instruction is, if you've not heard how He plans to deliver you from that situation, I would advise, I would encourage that you don't jump ahead of him. We have ways that we must have thought about how we'll come out of the situation, but God's ways are not our ways, and he said that repeatedly in the Bible. His ways are not our ways. So as far as the east is from the west, and that's the distance between how we think and how God thinks. So I just want to encourage someone to wait on God, on whatever it is, a deadline, a physical threat, whatever it is. It seems like if you don't move from here, you would die or things will go irreparably bad. I want to say that God can stand and will stand between you and that thing. It will not come close. As long as you're in His will is not always immediate movement. So sometimes when it's His will that you stand still, I want to encourage us to stand still. It's very difficult, especially for someone like me who likes to do things. It's really difficult. But if we can just say, God, you know what, I trust you. Your word says this concerning this situation. Your word says this concerning this matter. So I will trust you. And you just stand and continue to stand until He says, stretch out your rod across the sea. Until He says, oh, take this action, or go left, or go right, or do this. But let's not take those actions preemptively. Let's not try to imagine what God will want to do. Let's wait for Him to say what to do, and then we do it. I hope that somehow we encourage each other. If you have any lessons or any comments you feel will encourage someone else, you can put them in the comment section, and let's just encourage each other in this moment that we're in. But we know that when we have God in our corner, or when we are in God's corner, that everything will work for our own good. It will resolve itself. It will work out. It will work out in the ways that you could never imagine. It will work out. So while we are still at the Red Sea, let's trust God. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Have a good week. See you next week. Bye.